We go straight into this match. Trevenant into Bastiodon. This is the first time I'm using this team, so I don't know what to do if you run into a Bastiodon on the deep. I decided to just go straight for a Shadow Ball and see where this goes. This team is Trevenant, Drapion, and Bastiodon. This team was also on the lists, the PvP poke list, in December, and it still is in the top best teams as of January 12th. So you can see it's a reliable team. Instead of Aqua Tail, I decided to TM it away into a Sludge Bomb because I was running into a lot of grass types at the time when I decided to use this team. That is our slight modification to this team, but otherwise it's basically the team as mentioned in PvP Poke. We have a shield advantage as opposed to opponent's switch advantage. We just go for a Seed Bomb over here because I wanted to get some farm. We shield up what could have been a nice punch. It was a Psychic, and we complete the farm down. They come back with a Bastiodon. I throw the Shadow Ball. This will not quite KO, but it will deal enough damage so that our Bastiodon can have an energy lead. Unfortunately for opponent's Trevenant, our Bastiodon just has too much HP. This flamethrower will not quite KO, but almost. Just one smackdown done, and opponent surrenders. Into our second match. Great lead. A Spark Lantern. This is a miserable matchup for Lantern. Thunderbolt actually hurts a bit when it lands on Trevenant, because although it's resisted, Trevenant is kinda fragile. We decide to shift to our Bastiodon and decide that this is an Earthquake. Yes, it is an Earthquake. That's a good shield on us. These smackdowns and these Stone Edges will deal neutral damage because although Gliscor is flying, it's also part ground, so the rock damage is cancelled out. The rock super effective status is cancelled out. We are lucky to shield that Earthquake. This is too quick. This is just a Night Slash. Great, fantastic. Barely tickles our Bastiodon. Opponent comes back with a Lantern. Surf won't quite KO, but it'll deal super effective damage over there. We throw this Stone Edge. It will hurt over there. And we complete the farm down of opposing Lantern. Not quite. Almost. Surf also doesn't quite KO. And unfortunately for opponent, their last Pokemon is a Cresselia. Opponent not having a good match. I thought I caught a Grass Knot here. Opponent throws the correct move, a Moon Blast. I throw a Shadow Ball here, thinking it is going to end the game quickly. Wasn't the case. We come back with our Drapion. Nothing this Cresselia throws will knock us out. Fortunately for opponents, just a Grass Knot. And the opponent surrenders. That's our second surrender. Into the third match. We run into Galarian Stunfisk. This is a neutral matchup. Opponent's building up, but this is just be a Rock Slide. I shield up because our team behaves Kinda like an ABB style team because our backline is weak to ground. So we do have to get rid of this Stunfisk right now if we can. We throw a seed bomb on CMP. I was hoping to grab a shield here, but opponent lets it go. Opponent throws a rock slide. Will not quite KO, but will deal significant damage. One Shadow Claw, and then we throw the seed bomb. I was hoping they don't shield, and they don't shield. That's terrific. Now we have switch advantage. Opponent in the back has a Sableye. We come back with... I decide with the Bastiodon here. Because if we return to the game with a Drapion, a return would have significantly hurt our fragile Drapion. Opponent panics and switches to their Trevenant. We're going to resist all moves here. But the Shadow Ball, as you can see, chunked. We throw a crunch. Opponent has to shield this, but decides not to. We will outpace to the crunch. This will deal a lot of neutral damage if opponent doesn't shield, so opponent has to shield. Do we get a debuff? We don't get debuff. That's alright. Opponent builds up a lot of energy. Throws a foul play to knock us out. We come back with a Bastiodon. Unfortunately for opponent, Bastiodon just has much HP left. And we reach the Stone Edge, and that's GG. This team is reliable. If you're looking for a team to recover from losing streaks, this is a good team to run. That's the third bubble, the fourth bubble, and the fifth bubble. It's very important to count and to time your moves so that your opponent doesn't have a free energy sneak in. This is going to be a nice beam, so we have to shield this because it's gonna knock us out with one shot. 3, 4. That's good. Don't allow the Azumarill any free energy ins. One bubble and then we throw. For moves like bubble, you throw on 1, 4, and 7. This is good. It's miserable for our Trevenant, and I was so tempted to switch out. But since we have switch, there's no point in giving up switch advantage. Trevenant will have to fight the good fight and chip as much damage as it can. She can, rather. Opponent switches into their Medicham. We reach the crunch first. This is just neutral because Psychic is weak, but fighting resists it. We get the debuff. That's great. It's fantastic. Ice Punch will not quite hurt us that much. We build up to the crunch. Throw this. If opponent doesn't shield, it's going to knock out. They shield up. Opponent reaches a charged move. The Ice Punch, good shield. We reach the crunch and throw. This will knock out opposing Medicham. Opponent's knocked out in a miserable matchup. Throws a Shadow Ball. Doesn't threaten our Bastiodon. The dapper and charming Noctowl wants to fight the good fight. Look at that charming top hat and bow tie. But no match for the Bastiodon. GG. That's the fourth win. Into the fifth match and final one. We have a great lead. We switch to our Bastiodon as opponent bails out to their Noctowl. Again, another miserable matchup for opponent. Shadow Ball. We saw this match up from previous match. Stone Edge will knock out. We get one smackdown in. Sky Attack barely tickles. And it's a water gun lantern. So it's a bit less comfortable for our Bastiodon. We nonetheless reach the Stone Edge, deal some chip damage. Opponent throws what could only be a Surf, which will knock out their Bastiodon. Bastiodon has done its job. We come back with our Trevenant. Opponent immediately switches into Pidgeot, and opponent is running a double flyer team. We throw the Crunch, hoping for the debuff. We don't get the debuff. I get nervous here because it might be a Brave Bird. Instead, the opponent throws that Feather Dance. Again, fishing for the debuff. Do we get the debuff? We do get the debuff. That's great. And that's gonna be important, as you will see down the line. I shield up again what could have been a Brave Bird. This is why Sludge Bomb is important. It dealt more damage to a quadruple debuff Drapion. So opponent uses a Brave Bird here. That's 2 stages down. Remember, our Crunch debuffed opposing Pidgeot 1 stage down earlier, which is why this Seed Bomb is enough to knock out. Lantern comes back. We'll throw a Thunderbolt. It might hurt, but it will be not enough to knock out our Trevenant. We build up the Seed Bomb. Opponent decides to surrender. That's GG. There you go. A perfect 5 for 5. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video.